Hey there, hi. My national radio show airs on over 500 radio stations in total. Okay, maybe you used to listen to it, but something changed, you moved, you got busy, whatever. That's why I want to remind you why it's the best show out there. It's the biggest show. So I'm going to let you listen to a recent show. Now, the Kim Komando Show is not Kim Komando Today. It's just me and callers and tech news and tips. You're just going to love it. Now, if you like what you hear, you can get the Kim Komando Show on your local radio station or get the Kim Komando Show as a commercial-free podcast. Yes, I said a commercial-free podcast in two places. One, if you're on Team Apple, subscribe to the Kim Komando Show on Apple Podcasts. Team Android, you can listen to the show as part of your Komando community membership. You can sign up now at community.komando.com. That's community.komando.com. Okay, enjoy the show. DoorDash. Oh my gosh, listen to what they're doing in Christiansburg, Virginia. Drone delivery? Yes. All you need is a clear 2 square meter spot on your property, like a driveway, and boom, it's raining takeout. Yes. DoorDash says it plans to launch its delivery drones in other U.S. cities this year. Isn't that just something? I mean, do you ever think that you'd be living in a time when you could hop online, order something, and then it gets delivered to your driveway by drone? Yeah, that's something. Oh, did you hear about the brand new food delivery service that features people wearing really tight jeans that were popular in the 1980s? Did you hear about this? It's called DoorDash. Oh, that was a great one. Even I laughed at that. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, and you just tapped into the biggest show, the best show, the most award-winning show ever about all things digital. And you can find us on over 420 top stations. If you prefer to get us as a podcast, that's totally cool. Just search for Kim Komando Show wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, as well as inside the Komando community. You can get that too as a podcast and also as a webcast. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members. Isn't that just amazing? All right, dear one, every single day I visit at least 35 to 40 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the techverse. And here are the top 7 things that you need to know about tech right now. And I go through these super quick, so make sure that you're paying attention. First up, starting in January 2025, Florida has joined Arkansas, Ohio, and Utah, banning kids under the age of 14 from having social media accounts. They have to get rid of any social media accounts of 14 and 15-year-olds and require parents' permission to scroll. Yeah, you know, COPA, the Child Online Protection Act, that really didn't work because you were supposed to be 13. Kids just lied. But you have to follow the money train because big tech just doesn't care. Instagram. Wow, listen to this. From Harvard, made $801 million in ad revenue from kids age 12 and under. Isn't that just something? Almost $1 billion. Crazy. So look, we already have proof that social media causes anxiety, depression, gender confusion, eating disorders, and more. It's evil at work, and you have to give these laws your support. Moving on to number 2, imagine you're having dinner with the family. Knock, knock, knock on the door. Open. It's the police. A SWAT team wrongfully raided a St. Louis family's home after the Find My app pointed them there. What the heck happened? Stolen AirPods connected to a carjacking were just lying on the street right by the house. Someone probably threw them out of the stolen car. And you better believe that the family's lawyering up for some damages. Moving on to number 3, if your router is more than 2 years old, be sure that it still gets updates. Otherwise, it's just time to get a new one. Here's what's going on. Hackers have amped up their efforts. They're taking over thousands and thousands of routers every single day and turning them into what's called proxy servers to cover their illegal activities. So be sure that you get my free newsletter because we're going to have a router buying guide coming up over the next week or so, and you can sign up right now over at getkim.com. That's getkim.com. You're going to join 500,000 folks over at getkim.com. Number 4 are on our list of 7 things that you need to know. About 200 mobile devices of people who visited Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island in the years prior to his death. Guess what? They left an invisible trail of data pointing back to their own homes and offices. What happened? Wired magazine wrote about this. The data amassed by Near Intelligence, a location data broker, reveals with high precision the residences of many guests of Little St. James, that's that island. A full story, once again, is over at Wired. Care to make any guesses who may be on that list? It's going to come out now. Moving on to number 5 of our 7 things. If you watched any drone or augmented reality YouTube videos between January 1st, 2023 January 8th, 2023. Congratulations, you're on a watch list. What's going on? Investigators linked a money laundering suspect by the name of Elon Musk, WHM, to these videos. Then the feds got Google to divulge a list of everyone who actually watched these videos, and they say it's crucial for their investigation. I don't know about you, but I think this sets a dangerous precedent. Moving on to number 6, talk to your kids about this. Some viral videos are teaching kids that eating as little as 2 teaspoons of nutmeg can trigger sensations from mild euphoria to intense delirium that lasts up to 48 hours. Who knew? The crash is not pretty. Facial flushing, rapid heartbeat, dry mouth, hypertension. So parents, check on your kids and also your spice rack. And finally, this coming in at number 7. I don't know if you know this, but aside from this big weekend show, I also host a daily show on about 375 stations. It's called the Daily Tech Update. Here's one from this past week. There's one thing to be learned from Kate Middleton's Class and Substance. We pay far too much attention to far too many smart-ass internet trolls. Being an A-list celebrity does not preclude someone from being a troll. Take actress Blake Lively and her groveling apology for her tasteless Kate Middleton joke. Second-rated late-night host Stephen Colbert joked the princess was out of sight because her husband was having an affair. He named the woman Rose Hadbury, a friend of the Windsors. Just before Kate's announcement, the woman's attorney contacted CBS, the first step to a defamation lawsuit. The never-appropriate Andy Cohen copied that same joke. Then there's the attention-craving Kim Kardashian and her joke about looking for Kate. I could go on. The trolls definitely will, unless we deprive them of what they desire most, that is, your attention. So I always get some interesting feedback, and I thought I would share this note with you. It's from Ron. He says, my biggest gripe with your statements about Princess Kate is I'll give you credit. Yes, you do know more about computers than I do. But when it comes to conspiracy facts, so he calls them conspiracy facts, there are very reliable sources, Kim Komando, which all claim the same thing. Princess Kate was eliminated and she's been replaced by a lookalike. Why she was eliminated is another subject altogether. So I thought, hey, I think I'll ask Ron, what's going on with Princess Kate being eliminated? So he wrote me back. He said, why Kate was eliminated has yet to be revealed. In the meantime, you can follow the updates on Rumble. There's a bunch of other alternative podcasters saying the same thing. Kate was not eliminated. Oh my gosh, But there is the conspiracy theory that North Korea's Kim Jong-un is a clone. Have you heard about this? You know what they call him? Kim Jong-dos. Like Uno Dos. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about deep fakes that are using your kids' voices. We also have the easiest security step you're not taking. Oh, in just a few minutes, how to keep your allergies in check with some tech. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls. And you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, as we get started, I want to tell you about a new address, winfromkim.com. Now, if you go there right now, you can enter to win a $500 Amazon gift card, right? Winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Come on, I want you to win it. Go ahead, just put your name on that list. Winfromkim.com. The catch is that you have to get one issue of my free newsletter, which you're going to love, okay? Winfromkim.com. All right, how about we get this hour started with Sarah in Portland, Oregon. Hi there, Sarah.
So, I feel weird even talking about this because I sometimes feel like it makes me sound crazy and paranoid. But, over 10 years now, I have had the sinking feeling that somebody is stalking me. And I have come to the conclusion that I think it might be my brother.
Oh.
He works in IT. He not only is he in IT, but he also works for an internet service provider, which is the one that I use for my home internet. And I recently cut ties with him over the summer. Throughout our whole childhoods and into adult life, there's been a history of character smears, telling lies to other family members, telling lies about me to our parents. And after a particularly egregious episode last summer, I told him I no longer wanted a relationship. This episode came after I had been traveling for 5 weeks internationally for a job.
Okay.
I think he was just really jealous. And anyhow, since I had cut ties with him, I've been under just a never-ending cyber attack. I'm, constantly getting notifications that, a code has been requested, et cetera. One thing to note also, before I stopped speaking with him, he freely admitted to me on several occasions that he's very active on the dark web and uses it to have illegal drugs sent to his house.
Right. So we're dealing with a character that you would never be friends with, but you're blood related. Okay, so so we have some history and ties and emotional baggage and all that other stuff that comes with that.
Yeah.
You mentioned getting like 2-factor authentication codes. Give me like 3 other real quick examples of some ways that you think that you're getting stalked.
So a couple of years ago, I posted a picture on Facebook, and it was with a male best friend of mine, no romantic history. My friend started getting Facebook messages that were along the lines of, "Oh my God, I was so drunk last night. Did we have sex?" And of course, my friend, we don't have that relationship. So he called me and was like, I think somebody hacked your Facebook. Same time period, I was getting messages on my Facebook account from an account that appeared to be a childhood friend, a family friend, asking questions again about my sex life. And that was not a relationship that she and I had. We knew each other. Our families were friends growing up, but she and I had never been close. So I, did a quick search in the search bar, saw that there were 2 accounts under her name, duplicate, and texted her and was like, "Hey, are you on Facebook right now?" And she was like, "No, I'm at work." So there's 2 examples right there. And then just a couple of days ago, I'm on a job search. I unexpectedly lost my job with no reason. So that's another thing that I think might have something to do with this. But I've been trying to protect myself. So digging through, forums and kind of how I came across you, I put up a firewall on my MacBook. I've changed my Apple ID. I've changed all my passwords.
Good.
I even was able to get into my router and change passwords.
Good. I was going to tell you to make sure that you do. That's where a lot of people, they don't do that.
The morning after I changed all of that, I woke up to a notification that almost 300 passwords of mine had been leaked in a data breach. So I'm doing all of this stuff to secure my information, and within hours, I got a notification on my iPhone that all of my passwords had been breached.
God, what a nightmare! What a nightmare this is for you. This is awful.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what we can do. Okay, you already did the router. Okay, so you changed all the passwords on that. If you can do a factory reset on the router and change the password just to make sure that everything's all locked down. Any devices that you have attached to the router, I know it sounds crazy, but there could be a way that he could get in, especially if he's hanging out on the dark web, is whether it's a security camera, a video doorbell, whatever it may be. You're going to have to make sure that you do a factory reset to all of that. Instead of when you change a password, it does 2-factor authentication that goes to your phone. I want you to use the Google Authenticator app. Okay. So it's a 6-digit code that's sent, and it's only valid for 30 seconds. But if he has access to a cloud account, your email, whatever, he's not going to be able to see that. So this way we make sure that, another option is that you can use physical security keys that you plug into your computer if you wanted to go that route. And one's called the UB key, YUBI, UB keys. They're like USB drives, but in order to get a 2FA, it has to be plugged into your computer. I don't know what legal options you might have if there's an attorney that maybe would know something about this. It's really unfortunate that you have to go through all this, to have one person that, is causing such tumult in your life right now. And I wish there was just one big fix, There was just a side of me, Sarah, that just thought I wonder if there was a way that you could actually change your name,
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that's a big step. It requires a lot of things. And I don't know, he may be able to even find that out through your parents or through a friend or a family member or something like that.
The other thing is I think my dad's in on it. Because I recently, when I lost my job unexpectedly, my dad went into a tirade. It was weird. I was telling him, I'm doing okay with it. It's bad news. But he then all of a sudden started attacking me on my finances. And I've always been extremely financially responsible. The only debt I have is my mortgage. And he wouldn't take that as the truth. And he kept saying, I know things about you. I know things about you. And I was like, what are you claiming to know about my finance? I'm 40 years old, and And he was like, I can't say. And so I haven't been speaking to him either.
Well,
and,
it sounds like you shouldn't be speaking to anybody. I think you need to take a 6-month leave of absence from the family, and get yourself together. Take all the steps that you can to further separate yourself from your brother and things that are going on. You might want to think about filing a police report, especially if you have evidence that he's actually behind this or a strong suspicion. You're going to have to go to the police station to do this and ask to speak to a cybersecurity expert at the police station. Show them all the evidence, show them everything that's going on. But you're going to have to take some extreme steps in order to do this. And it goes through not just tech, it goes through coping mechanisms as well, Sarah. I mean, how do you deal with this every single day? But use the Google Authenticator app. Maybe get a physical device like I talked about the YubiKey. Reset everything in your life. Reset everything. Get a password manager. Go to keepersecurity.com/Kim. You're going to get 50% off. So this way, when it comes time to change all your passwords, it's a lot easier to do. Again, that's keepersecurity.com/Kim. Sarah, do all that. You need any help afterwards, just give me a call back. Happy to be here for you. Always tough calls to take here on the show, I'm telling you. All right, if you haven't done your taxes yet and you earn $79,000 a year or less, you can file for free with IRS-approved software. A top choice is H&R Block's free online, perfect for just the basics. There's also Tax Act. They have their free edition. They promise to pay for any difference if you get a lower refund or owe more in taxes. Plus, it covers legal and audit costs up to $100,000. You can find links to all of these over at irs.gov. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a security step that you have to take here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up, we have deep fakes that are using your kid's voice, as well as later on, the easiest security step that you're probably not taking. And before we go back to all of your phone calls, yes, spring is here. We love this here in the desert. But, what it means for a lot of people is that coughing and sneezing because maybe your allergies are just kicking in. Well, Pollen.com's Allergy Plus mobile app is really handy in case this happens to you. It tracks pollen index levels along with a 5-day allergy forecast. Once again, that's Pollen.com. It's called Allergy Plus mobile app. There's also the IQ Air Visual, and that's also an app. It keeps you updated on pollution levels formulated by more than 500,000 locations of government stations around the globe. That's really good if you have asthma. Once again, it's called IQ Air Visual. All right, back to the phones we go with Pat in Vancouver, Washington. Hi, Pat.
Well, I own a small business, and I've got a good website I just spent a bunch of money on, and I'm having a hard time. I'm not very good on social media. I'm a welder. We build metal art, and I need to get people to my website. And right now, I just have a hard time getting people there.
You sent me an email. I looked at your website. Boy, you sell so many things. I mean, like napkin holders and art and military welding. Do you do all that yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. Your website's beautiful. How much do you spend on that?
$7,000.
All right. We gotta get that money back. Okay.
Right.
As a small business owner, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about my rule of thirds, is that if we spend $7,000 on a project, that means I have to go earn $21,000.
That makes sense. Because
this way we have a profit and we pay our taxes along the way.
Yep.
So the whole thing, you see, what you're a subject of is if you build it, they still won't come. So how do we get your art and how do we get people to see it? Because once they see it, you offer a whole bunch of different categories that it may be smart to specialize on what are the biggest sellers and to put those front and center. What's the most that you sell of right now?
Right now, recently it's been our end tables and our lamps.
Okay. All right. So for end tables and lamps, what I would do is I would look at setting up an Instagram account, a Pinterest account, but also an Etsy account and also an eBay account where you start selling your one-offs, your best sellers, and then you direct them to the website for other things. And then around the holidays, I mean, if you're talking about Veterans Day, then you put up, for the 5 arms of service, things that you may offer for that. For Father's Day gifts, Mother's Day gifts, right?
Right.
So you start talking about doing marketing. And then, of course, on social media, like you said, you're not good at it. Well, you know what? You can't be good at everything. I mean, you're good at designing and welding. Being a social media expert, you know what? You don't have to do that. You have to hire somebody for that. So the question is that you start thinking about, who do you know that knows somebody who could do your social media? Who do you know? And you may not think about it right now, but who do you know who you could ask? Could you get on your LinkedIn profile and say, I need somebody who can work 10 to 15 hours a week to do my social media. And that's all it's going to take. And you're going to pay them $25 an hour. And if you want to, at some point, if you get a person who's really good enough and they're really working it, is that you give them a small percentage of the sales that are coming through, say, Etsy or eBay, so that this way you keep an incentive going. You also need to get an email list going, because newsletters and email newsletters are so effective marketing, because you are putting an ad directly into their inbox and they've already expressed interest. Maybe they've already purchased something. So anybody who's already bought something from you should automatically go on a list. Start looking at local partnerships as well. If there are any art galleries that can showcase your work, you know, and maybe with social media, you start looking at influencers in the home decor space. I mean, these are all big things that as a business owner, I can tell you from one business owner to the next, I'm not good at a lot of things, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty good at running the business. I'm pretty good at being on the air and selecting content and helping people and making sure that things are going. But when it comes time to put together social media videos, I'll tell you, I can't do that. Okay. I don't have the time and the patience. I can write the newsletter, but I can't do the back end of the newsletter. For that, I depend upon somebody else. Doing A/B subject lines, again, depend upon somebody else. Somebody to put the artwork on stuff to sell in Etsy, again, that's somebody else, right? So you got to go with what your skill set is. And your skill set is that you're an artist and you're a hard worker. I can tell by looking at that website. Well, as you get this up and going, Pat, if you have any questions whatsoever, just know I'm always here for you. I love, love, love entrepreneurs. I love artists. Boy, I tell you, that's something I could never be, is an artist. I can be an entrepreneur. I can't be an artist. I don't think you can be an artist and an entrepreneur and run the whole business, do social media, handle the books, ship the products, make the products. I mean, that's a whole, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, I get that. I mean, I make products every single day. I make 2 radio shows every day. I make 2 different other shows every week. I make a Sirius XM show. I write for USA Today and the Daily Mail and Fox News. And then, don't forget the newsletters that go out every single day to 500,000 folks. You know, you just can't do everything yourself. You just can't do it. But you can grow the smart way. And that is hire part-timers. Have them take a little bit out of your plate. And then you can actually see the quality of their work too when they're part-time. If you need any help afterwards, Pat, just reach out. Always here for you. Okay, let's see who's next. Dave in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hi, Dave.
Well, you've been a lot of help to me over the years in so many ways, and I'm hoping today you can help me with my brother's health issue.
Okay.
He's got AFib in addition to memory loss, and, that really messes with your heart rate. And now he's on a new medication that might reduce it, and I'm looking for something to monitor his heart rate and alert him if it goes awry.
Okay. What kind of phone and how tech savvy do you think he is?
He has an iPhone 12 mini, and he's not that tech savvy, but his wife is, and so am I.
Okay. Do you think an Apple Watch would be good or no?
I have one, and I think it would be. I have the SE model. I guess there's more advanced ones.
Yeah, there is. The Apple Watch Series 8 is the latest and greatest, and it does all kinds of things now. It's just an amazing gadget, isn't it? What do you like the most about it?
I like the fact that it'll keep track of an irregular heartbeat. And if I fall, it'll call the police.
Which is so nice. Now, the downside is, of course, is the battery life, right?
Right. I want to get him a stand for next to his bed for whatever he gets.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. They have these, I call them triple play stands now. I just got one for my husband, and they sell them at Costco. They're like, I don't know, it's a Belkin brand, but I bought his at Costco for about $110. But instead of having 3 different chargers, it's a 3-in-1, so he can put his iPhone, his watch, and also his AirPods right on one charger. So it's kind of sweet, and it all works. The Apple Watch is definitely, without hands down, the best wearable for somebody, I think, with a heart condition. I mean, you can get the cardio, you can put the cardio app on that as well, which is also pretty darn good. But the downside is the 18-hour limitation. So if his wife is around to help him to remember to actually charge this thing up, it's great, right?
Right.
Because it will give him the alerts that he needs to know that something's going on. And also he can set it up so that if something is going wrong, that his wife could be notified too. Now, if for some reason that this doesn't work out for him, and maybe, you might want to loan him your watch for just a day to see how he deals with it, is that Fitbit has something called the Fitbit Lux, Luxe, fitness and wellness tracker. And it does everything that you might expect: sleep tracking, 24/7 heart rate, stress management, all that other good stuff. But it also allows you to do the heart rate notifications that you're looking for. But the battery life on the Fitbit is 5 days. So that's why I like to tell people about both. So if you have somebody who's not going to remember to actually charge up the Apple Watch, then that's where you want to look at something like a Fitbit. Again, it's the Fitbit Lux Fitness is the wellness tracker. But I'll tell you, the Apple Watch, it seems like every single day I'm reading some story about somebody's life being saved by an Apple Watch. And if you are listening, and whether it's you or somebody you love, that they have heart issues, that, get them an Apple Watch. The other thing, too, what's nice is that you can do your own ECG on that thing. It's not quite an EKG, but it's ECG. And that's really fabulous, so that if you think that something may be going on with that little ticker, is that you can kind of have an idea where you can do these various reports on yourself, on your watch. And then when you do get to see your cardiologist, is that you can kind of open up your phone and you can see everything that's going on. But it's really, really phenomenal tech. Take a look at the Series 8, Dave. That's the one that I got my husband, and it's pretty darn good. All right, your phone rings. Now on the other line is your kid, voice shaking, saying they've been abducted and they need ransom money now. So your first instinct is like, I got to do whatever I can to keep my child safe, right? Well, here's what's going on: is they're deep faking your kid's voice. They're taking videos off of social media, they run it through some software, and suddenly they can sound just like your child. So what are you supposed to do if you actually get one of these scary calls? Number one, beforehand, create a secret code word or phrase, something that only the two of you know. If you ask for the code and the caller says, I don't know what you're talking about, obviously a red flag. Try calling your kid's number directly. That's your second step. If they pick up, it was all bogus. Try calling someone else who might know them too. And finally, get the authorities in loop. Dial 911. And try not to panic, because that's exactly what the scammers are banking on. All right, still to come, the easiest security step that you're not taking, plus more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Kay in Davenport, Iowa. Hi there, Kay.
I had a desktop computer like we all did that way back when, and it was in my basement office, and the tower sat on the floor. Well, the basement flooded with 4 to 5 inches of dirty water. Oh. And I was alarmed that the computer was damaged, but had no worries about all the content being lost, because just 1 month earlier, I had signed up with a remote automatic computer backup system that I learned about from you, and you were recommending at that time. So I went out and bought my first laptop. All the data was downloaded to it, and I went on my merry way, and the basement was a mess, but my computer was clean.
You're like, yes, thank you, Kim Komando. Yeah. So what's going on now?
Yeah, I have a question. I receive many calls from various companies, quote unquote, saying that my business needs to be verified by Google, or the website is missing information so that customers will not be able to find my business online. And whenever I do any kind of search online, I think it pops up pretty easily, and I don't see any problems with it. At first, I thought these calls were legit, but now I'm wondering if they're a scam. I have never called anybody back. I was just wondering what you know about these companies.
Well, it's a scam. It's probably a scam. 9 times out of 10, it's a scam. I mean, especially if you've already set up, you've gone to google.com/business, right? And you put your website in there. Have you done that?
No. No, I haven't done that specifically.
Okay, go to google.com/business.
Okay.
And that's where you can get your business listed, obviously, through Google. And now Google's going to ask you for a whole bunch of information. You have to name the business and you have to claim it. You got to fill in all the details. And then Google's going to want to verify your business, make it legit. But there is a scam going around, especially if you have a Google Voice number. Seems like they're hitting. Do you have a Google Voice number?
A Google Voice number?
No. Okay, so you don't. Because there is a scam where they're going after Google Voice number, people who have Google Voice numbers. But Google's not going to call you really and say, hey, can we make sure that your business is legit? I mean, if they did that, they'd be on the phone all day long, right?
Yeah, they would.
Okay,
right.
So, and anytime somebody calls you unsolicited versus you filling out a form or at least taking a couple of steps, is that I am always so suspicious, because then all of a sudden, once they get their little like pinky finger around you, that's when it's like, oh, well, now we need money for this, or can we remote in and we'll fix it for you? And then you're like, okay, and then that's going to cost $175. And you're like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm glad you called. I'm going to say it's a scam. And then for you to actually get your business listed with Google, which is a great idea, by the way, because this way, anytime somebody's trying to find somebody, what you do locally that you're going to pop up and also on Google Maps is that you want to start at google.com/business. That's google.com/business. And if they're just calling to verify that you're on Google, you're not there. So what are they verifying? So get yourself on there again. That's google.com/business. Kay, I'm so glad that you called me and you're not calling those people back. You're a smart one. Thank you for your call. I'll tell you, the scammers just never stop. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so frightening to be out there. Imagine if you didn't listen to the Kim Komando show. You'd be one of those stats where people get taken all the time. Don't you know it? Okay, so here's the deal. I'm giving away a $500 Amazon gift card to somebody, and I would love for it to be you. And see, what am I doing and why am I doing this? Well, I want to get more people to try my free newsletter. And so that's why I'm giving away a $500 Amazon gift card to somebody who's going to be entering to win at winfromkim.com. You just have to try one issue of the newsletter, just one. And then if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. It's just one click to unsubscribe. And so how can you enter to win? Go to this special address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, what's the best way to stop hackers in their tracks? Make them do some work. Now, although two-step verification, 2FA, works to stop unauthorized access to your accounts, it has a big problem because it's easy for hackers to grab those codes out of your text messages or your emails. So that's why it's important that you start thinking about taking it another step further. I'm talking about downloading and using an authenticator app like the free Google or Microsoft Authenticator. Instead of using 2FA every 30 seconds, an authenticator app generates a one-time passcode that you can use to sign into your accounts. Both Google and Microsoft, they work the same way. And like, for example, under Facebook, instead of 2FA, you're going to say authenticator app. If you need more steps about that, hit the website for it's 24/7 on there at Komando.com. Well, wasn't that great? I know you loved it. And just a reminder, you can get my show on your local radio station or get the Kim Komando Show as a commercial-free podcast in two places. Number one, Team Apple. Sign up over at Apple Podcasts. Just search for Kim Komando Show. Now, Team Android folks, you can listen to the show as part of the Komando community. Just head to community.komando.com. Once again, that's community.komando.com.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.